all the nuances of the rules, what can we say about ordinary amateurs, and even more so about novice players? Volleyball is one of the most difficult team sports to understand, which often discourages beginners from doing it seriously. Evaluating the rules of this game from the outside, there are often a lot of questions about the expediency of certain points, and that's exactly what I'd like to talk to you about today. I will share with you my thoughts on what rules in volleyball should be changed, or simply removed. And I'm waiting for a like from you under this video, as well as your comments on the topic of this video. Well, now, as usual, we will not delay any longer. Let's go! Rotation is one of the most difficult topics in volleyball for beginners. You can't do without it, but still, I would simplify everything a little here. Every match we observe how the players begin to take more comfortable positions on the court after serving. It is especially hard for the setter, who often has to run from the back line to get to the net and make a set. And if the reception was unsuccessful, then you will still need to run back. Ultimately, accumulated fatigue will affect the quality of the setter game by the end of a protracted match, especially if it happens within the framework of some tight tournament where there is not enough time to recover. In this regard, it would be logical to simply leave the division into the front and back lines, and even then, solely so that not everyone could attack and block from the front line. And also, keep the order of serve. As for me, all these movements do not contribute anything to the game, except as an opportunity to tire the players. If so, with each change in the rules, they try to simplify this point and make life easier for players, then why not make it as simple as possible? I would like to briefly dwell on the separation of lines. As many people know, an attacking player cannot hit the ball above the top edge of the net if the libero gives a high set within the front line. That is, he can perform a platform set, a leg set, and even a head, but not high set. That's what this rule is for, so that you understand. All the other players in the back line can give a set, but libero, no. You have already taken away from him the opportunity to serve and attack from the back line. Duck at least gives him a chance to give a good set to his spiker. And so far we have not left the topic of libero. It is impossible not to be outraged by the rule of exceptional substitution, or in general replacement of libero. If a player of this position, for some reason, cannot continue the game, then any other fielder can replace him. You ask, what is the problem? The fact is that libero cannot take the place of attacking players, even if there are only 5 or fewer of them left. If such a situation occurs, then your team is declared libero freedom. Since we talked about sets recently, let's get back to this issue. There is such a violation, which is popularly called the second set error. There is no such rule in volleyball. Officially, this is interpreted as catch, or double contact. And if I agree with the first one, it is not necessary to grab and hold the ball, because this can seriously affect the actions of blockers, and also greatly simplifies the life of setters. Then the double touch is a rather ambiguous thing. As a rule, in such situations, the team already remains without a high-quality set, and then a point is immediately lost. As for me, such a minor technical blemish should not be so severely punished. This is more an opportunity for the judge to remind him of his presence than something really useful. And if you catch the ball at set, it seems to me a reasonable mistake. That's in defense. I don't approve of such whistles. It often happens that a defensive player contacts the ball with an open palm, and this is immediately regarded as a mistake. Well, imagine you came to watch volleyball for the first time, and after such an action, the match stops and a point is given to the opposing team. Will you understand what happened? Of course not! Was it possible to do without this whistle? Of course, yes! Punishing with a lost point, a slightly softer touch, as for me, is a very strange decision. Recently, many rules have started to simplify, but this does not apply to touching the net. Here, on the contrary, everything has become tougher. If earlier it was forbidden to touch only the top of the net, now the net between the antennas during the game action is a completely inviolable thing, which is also quite a controversial decision. Sometimes, some microscopic touches that do not affect the game at all can cost a lost point, and if this does not affect the game episode in any way, then what is the point of fixing it? This is an extra pause, which kills the rhythm of the game and seriously affects the entertainment of this sport. And perhaps these are the most incomprehensible rules for me in volleyball.